What is up, Pokemon lovers? Welcome back to another Market Watch Monday where we look at some of my favorite picks from the week. And since it is Monday, we are going to be exclusively in the English language. So with that all being said, let's get into today's amazing picks. So for today's first pick, it is the most recent promo from an ETB. One of the best promos that we've ever seen is this little Eevee sleeping next to its little Pikachu. It's like a dog that we all have and wish we had Eevee in real life. But right here, this is a card that is already just price spiking. I mean, it's $10. This is one of the cards that I think is going to grow extremely fast. Again, maybe if you're just a collector like myself and not really an investor, there is both collecting plays and investing plays on this card. On today's list, we do not have the stamped promo of this card. This is just the normal one. This is more for the collectors. And if you just can't get your hands on a Prismatic Evolutions ETB, this is a great option for $10. Again, you guys can watch some of my previous videos about how there's so many amazing cheaper picks on the bottom tier of Prismatic Evolutions. They're still very affordable, and this is one of them. This shows that you can still pick up Prismatic Evolutions if you don't want to or can't afford to open a booster box or want to rip some packs. This one is a beautiful one and one that all of us should own. I do not have this quite yet. I will be picking up a copy right after this. And next we have a card that has just been moving. I mean, this thing completely just took off so fast. This card was a $150 card, and before you know it, it just exploded. I think it's rightfully so. This is an amazing one-of-one style art. It is very unique, and it comes from a set that's really fun to open and really tough to pull a lot of these big cards. Last sold, most recent, is $400, and as you can see by this graph right here, just rocket ship to the moon, and who knows where it's gonna stop. That's the thing with this card. It is just such an amazing card. A shiny Gen 1 Pokemon. We already know, guys, this one was a recipe for disaster. I slipped up. I don't have a copy of this, so I'll probably be picking it up in probably Korean or Chinese at a cheaper option. And I'm sure even in Korean, it's still probably a $150 card. We'll cover that tomorrow in tomorrow's video. But yeah, I can't really recommend that you guys buy this right now. There's a lot of picks on today's card list where I was going through TCG Player to try to, pick some good picks, some underrated picks. But a lot of these cards are just so bought up. It's very obvious that the whole market is just being picked apart left and right. You used to be able to find, a lot of cards sub $10 are ultra modern. Right now, it's just not that case. It's very, very overheated, and you can tell. I mean, did I believe that this card should have been a $125, $150 card? Absolutely, I do. I think that it's floating right around there. But at $400, guys, oh man, this market is so hot. And again, I'm gonna tell my audience over and over in times like this, we just need to be patient and wait. Do I think that this card can go back to that $150 mark? Potentially. We do not know. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback when I say things like that. I'm willing to take the chance and take the risk of just sitting back and letting the market. And it's okay. You guys don't have to buy this. You guys don't have to buy a lot of these picks on today's list, and they might come back into your buy range once more. So that's just what I have to say. And the same goes with this card right here. I own the Charmander and Charmeleon in both Japanese and English, but I could not pull that Charizard. This thing again, soaring, $235. This thing was like $100 for so darn long. And if you take a look right here, if we look at this chart, it goes 180 and then just boom, just 250. Probably be a $300 card in a couple months, the way that this this market is. It's just anything that has a potential to grow and has some of these checklists, some Gen 1 Pokemon, a shiny version of a Pokemon, hard to grade, more popular sets. Those are 4 reasons why these cards are just exploding in value. And it's a cool card, don't get me wrong, it's a great art. But do I think that this one deserves to be at these prices? Absolutely not, especially with all the madness with Pokemon 151. I mean, that definitely has a lot to do with why this card is that amount, because of all the madness of Pokemon 151. You would think that if this was a bullish market, or a bearish market, I'm sorry, that a lot of people would be cracking open those Blooming Waters kits, the things at Costco that people are fighting over. A lot of people would be opening them up, which would mean more Charizards flooding the market. But instead, we have all these, collectors and investors and just people that are just sitting on them. So this just drives the value up for these cards. Again, what is my advice to you guys? I would just wait, especially for cars like this, like 151. I understand there's not going to be a lot of supply out there after this, but we've seen what happened in Crown Zenith. I could be completely wrong, but I think that this one can get sub $200. I mean, probably around the $200 mark. Probably that can definitely be a option, but we're gonna have to wait and see. At this point, I never thought I'd see a $1,000 ultra modern card, and here we are. And then to back that up, this comes from one of my favorite sets, Twilight Masquerade. This was a card that I loved so much. I still don't have this, or maybe I do have this. Maybe I did pull this in Mask of Change. Most recent sale $8, but even this card is climbing. It's going up. It is a card that, I mean, again, Gen 1 tax, very simple. It's got a Ditto, Psyduck. Chansey is probably a very lovable Pokemon, and Snorlax. It's got a Snorlax. This is probably one of the most underrated cards in this set, and I'm putting eyes to it because I think that a lot of people are going. I wonder how hard it is to grade. I wonder what the PSA 10 market is for this card. But if it's a hard card to pull, I mean, we know how hard cards are to pull in Twilight Masquerade. It is a IR, so a little bit easier. But if this one grades a 10 and it holds that tax for all of these Pokemon in the picture, we might be sitting at a very, very underrated play, in my personal opinion. My boy Jodo Jake in our last live wanted me to pick a card and buy a few of them to then grade and then see what they do at the end of the year. And this one is one of my picks. I'm gonna try to dive into the graded market, grab a few of these cards, and I think this one right here has a lot of legs to grow. Let me know how you guys feel about this card in the comment section down below. Am I crazy or am I right on the spot? Now, no Pokemon video is complete without a Charizard, and this is, I would say, top five. Was my number one in Sword and Shield era for so long, and I've been preaching in 2023, 2024 to purchase this thing like hotcakes at the $100 mark. This thing was it was like a $90, $80 card for so long, and then now here we are, $191 most recent sale, and I still don't understand why this is not a $300 card, $400 card. Especially when a lot of the Vs from Evolving Skies are at that price. Not only does it have Gen 1 Pokemon, but it has fully evolved Gen 1 Pokemon and the top dog Charizard. Maybe Venusaur isn't as loved as I thought Venusaur was, but here we are. I think this is still an underrated buy for if you can get this card for like $150, $175, go pick this one up. It looks even more amazing in person. So let me know how you guys feel about this card. This has to be the biggest sleeper card on today's list, and it's still a pickup in my personal opinion. Next, we have this Umbreon VMAX from Brilliant Stars Trainer Gallery. I said before, I think this card in person, if you guys don't have this card, you guys don't know, but in person, this card looks better to me, and I've held multiple versions of the Umbreon. I think that this card is better than the Moonbreon, just because it has Karen, it has Umbreon, and it's a VMAX. It's kind of like the Umbreon, or Umbreon, the Moonbreon. So I'm already in Scarlet and Violet's mode, but I have to bring it back to Sword and Shield. But yeah, this one was sitting for so long. I mean, $30. Boom, boom, look, December, bam, 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 and then just took off. This absolutely took off. There was a point. Oh yeah, most recent sale was $75. So you probably get it. It's probably around a $65 card. But this card, again, I was just talking to my friend about the just boom of the trainer gallery. For some reason, I was just always tracking the trainer gallery, always seeing where some of these cards were floating, and then out of nowhere, it just pumped to the moon overnight. Like some people say, like, oh, it didn't do it didn't grow that much overnight. These did. The Umbreon and Karen cards absolutely did, and I was like, what the heck happened? Now we're here. Now we're at the $75 mark. It's getting there. It's getting up there. It's probably a $100 card very, very soon. I don't know if I could recommend picking this one up right now at the $75 mark. To me, it's a little pricey. It's so hard for me to just buy a lot of these cards in today's market because we just don't know how realistic these prices, or how like in stone these prices actually are. So I'm very, 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 very standoffish when it comes to modern, ultra modern like this. I've been buying stuff in other languages, and I've been buying things that are buying cards that are a little bit harder to find, like Delta Species cards that aren't in the best shape, but I still need them for a binder copy, just a little bit more vintagey than ultra modern. Sun and Moon, black and white stuff, all that stuff is on the table for me, and I'm trying to stay out of the trainer galleries. But there's still a lot of picks, there's still a lot of stuff, and I will do a updated trainer gallery video pretty soon. Next we have the Giovanni's Exile full art. So I did make a Team Rocket video. I'm gonna link that right around here, talking about the popularity of Team Rocket once it got announced at Worlds. What was that, last year or 2 years ago, of the Team Rocket sets? And here we are. I mean, this card right here, still $15, still cheap, guys, still very, very cheap. And once the Team Rocket set gets picked up with hype, this card is going to be recommended on YouTube. It's going to be recommended on your TCG player, recommended on eBay, and a lot of those eyes are going to go directly to cards like this. We know what the Jesse and James is doing. That thing's like an $85 card. Giovanni is no different. I can totally see this card going up to like $50-$60 when we had chances at buying this, $5-$10. So this one is a big red alarm to buy this for your collection before it's too late. It's still a very, very good price. What is this? $15? That's like a price of a McDonald's Happy Meal if you have kids. So after this video, definitely scoop this one up, and don't say I didn't warn you guys, because this one's gonna move very, very fast once more eyes are at the Team Rocket stage. What we got? We got 2 more sets left. I see a lot of people on YouTube just talking, hyping up Team Rocket. Those eyes will be here very, very shortly. And again, this is another card that I missed the boat on. I tell you guys the story all the time. I should have picked this up at $80, but I was being a cheapskate, thinking that the market was gonna continue to go down. And then now look, we're at $200, $200 freaking dollars. And I do have this card. I do have this card in Chinese. So it's still amazing, still happy that I have this card, but I didn't know about the Chinese market at the time. And I could have picked this up at 80, but now it is now over double that. And this is a card or whole era where the V market just took off. I think a lot of these like big collectors just scooped up all of the top alternate arts, and then they said, cool, what's next? What else is cheap? And then they bought out all these, I would call them A tier alternate arts in the Sword and Shield era. And this is one that every collector needs to have. This, I think, this one makes Evolving Skies and the Noivern, to my personal opinion, is what really makes Evolving Skies is the not only the evolutions, but the cards, the supporting cards like this, that makes it Evolving Skies like, wow, this set was just out of this world and just a top dog. It just, no set in the Sword and Shield era could even slightly compare to the Pokemon that it had. And that's why the Sword and Shield era is just tough to beat, because this Evolving Skies is beyond elite. And then lastly, for today's video, another Umbreon. Who would have known? But another Karen's Umbreon again. I pulled this one myself out of a Costco tin, so I was very stoked. I love the like watercolor style. It's just such a unique Umbreon card. Umbreon just looks like a little cat. Karen just in, you know, their backyard or wherever, maybe taking Umbreon on a walk. Very unique pose, very unique art. And we could see from this chart, guys, this thing was sitting at $25, $30. Now it's at $60, so 100% gain. And it is, what do I think? Is it a buy? Is it a sell? Is it a hold? This one's a hold, and potentially a buy. If you can get this thing at $50, I think it is a complete buy. It's just hard for me to recommend buying a lot of these cards again because of how overheated this market is. For all we know, this little you know, microwave era of Pokemon can just be over as soon as Team Rocket's done. I highly doubt that. But let's say we go into Gen 10 and it just becomes, you know, people are just super bearish on the new Pokemon, on the new game. Legends EA comes out, it's an absolute disaster. Pokemon decides to not print as much as they say they do, or overprint, completely overprint these next couple sets. We can be in for a world of hurt in the collection market. We got to remember that Pokemon wants their cards to be desirable. They want them, as much as we don't believe that. I think that's a sentiment in the hobby. Pokemon doesn't want their cards to be valuable. They want them to be very readily available. But I think that I know that Pokemon wants these cards to be valuable. There's so many other TCGs that have just lost customers because of their cards just not being valuable and overprinting. So Pokemon has to play this delicate dance with their audience to kind of keep themselves afloat. It's not like that in the Japanese market. The Japanese market, they care primarily about the players, and I'm sure Pokemon does too in English. I'm sure they do too. But in Japan, man, it is all players all day, and that's why I really love Pokemon cards in Japan. It's just, it's the way they do it. For me, as a collector, it's how I want it to be. In English, it's a little bit different. That's why I always recommend investing in collecting like higher end cards in English to hold value. And then if you want to just collect and rip packs, maybe Japanese, Korean, Chinese, etc. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed these picks. And then tomorrow we have another Market Watch Tuesdays for our Asian Pokemon market. My favorite day of the week. And until tomorrow, I'll catch you guys with a fresh new video. Peace out.